Before I start this video, I just want to say I recently made channel memberships a thing, so if you want to consider supporting this channel a lot more, consider becoming a member. You get to see exclusive content, and also you have more of a say in the types of videos that I post. Anyway, on to the actual video. Sup, fellow quacks. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a birthday speed paint while I share 24 fun facts about myself. I'm just going to dive right in because I don't want this video to be 24 minutes long. I know that'd be kind of cute, but nah, that's going to take forever to edit. I'm going to just dive right in. So, number one, I used to be a Girl Scout. I was a Girl Scout from 2006 to 2014. I had a lot of fun with it, but I left just because I wanted more free time. Older in Girl Scouts, you get more and more responsibilities, and the volunteer work that you do gets more complex and more involved with the community. So I was just like, you know what, I kind of want that free time, and I got an award, like I got the bronze award, so it's like I kind of peaked already, so I'm good, I'm out of here. So once I became a cadet, I left. I had a lot of badges and I made a lot of great memories, so I say it was worth it. Do I recommend becoming a Girl Scout? I would say so. I think it does have a lot of great character building things and whatnot. It's not as, I don't think a lot of people talk about it too much, but I have seen Girl Scouts around every so often. I am very biased towards the cookies. They are so good. Thin Mints were always a bestseller when we were selling cookies. By the way, we did not go house to house. That's a stereotype. Next fun fact, I used to be a clarinet player from the 3rd grade until high school. I stopped playing simply because I graduated. I would like to play the clarinet again, but it's just a very time-consuming hobby because I gotta build up my muscles again, and also practicing is kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, I did like it to an extent, but like, man, it really hurts your mouth when you have not like played the clarinet in a very long time. But I would like to do alien stage covers like on my clarinet, so maybe that might motivate me a little bit. Next fun fact, ranking my favorite seasons, it's spring, winter, fall, and summer. Summer's at the bottom because I can't stand the heat. I literally melt and die. And spring's at the top because it's that perfect balance of warm and cool. Winter is second because I will admit that being super duper cold is kind of miserable, and it does suck that like I have to be stuck in the house and bundling up and whatnot. But Christmas blows everything out of the water, and it makes it perfect, in my opinion. And also snow is just very magical to look at. Fall is in the middle simply just because it's not the most visually appealing season. Like, yeah, the autumn leaves are pretty, but like once they all fall down and it gets to November, it's kind of bleh. But Halloween does compensate for it in some aspects. Alright, next fun fact. I met 2 Disney stars when I was 11. This was related to Girl Scouts. So in 2012, we had this Girl Scout event of sorts where these 2 Disney stars were like giving autographs out and signing these magazines that we got. It was related to some Girl Scout thing or whatever, and we stood in line for hours. It was summer, it was very hot. I don't know why them specifically, you know, kind of random. I mean, it would have been really funny if I met like freaking Hannah Montana or something like that, but I don't know. It was definitely a memorable experience. I still have the magazine, so I'll show it on the screen. On to the next fun fact. So I've been watching anime like ever since I was really young, like a toddler. I didn't realize some of the animes that I watched were anime because of the art styles, because they were more older anime. But one anime in particular that I've been a fan of since I was at least 4 or 5 years old is Dragon Ball. I have been a Dragon Ball fan for at least like 19 to 20 years. I'm not like super involved in the fandom, but I can't say I've been a huge fan of the franchise. I have sort of been like in a weird orbiting state with Dragon Ball simply because like certain things I'm not a big fan of. I liked Daima. I enjoyed Super, mainly the Goku Black arc. I liked the movies, but after a while I was just like, you know, I feel like Dragon Ball needs to just kind of rest, you know, like I love it, but at the same time, it's time for Dragon Ball just to end a little bit, you know, like we're done. What else is there? There's all these complicated things going on, all these retcons and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I will say though, one thing that I wish that they would make, but I don't know if they ever will, would be like a Dragon Quest style Dragon Ball game. Like they just take the Dragon Ball characters and put it into a Dragon Quest world. That'd be awesome. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love for it to happen. On to the next fun fact. Okay, this is gonna be really brief because I already mentioned this in another video, but my favorite music genre of all time is Shibuya Kei. But yeah, I definitely think y'all should listen to it. On to the next fun fact. I used to be a night owl, but now I'm a morning person. I've always woken up early, but like I used to stay up pretty late. I never really slept in like till like 10 a.m. That's never been like a me thing. I've always been like a waking up at least around 7 or before 7, but I guess as I've gotten older, I just can't stay up late. Like I was like up at 2 a.m. for Alien Stage Karma's like premiere, but then I fell asleep around 3. I woke up again and I kept falling asleep and waking up because I didn't want to miss it. And then afterwards I was like, okay, well, I tried. I don't force myself to stay up anymore. I'm like, I just can't. I think it's just because I gotten older. It also because I value my sleep. Like I think a lot of young people don't get enough sleep. They stay up too late. Y'all need to get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Stop partying. You can party during the day. That's what the daytime is for. Nighttime is for rest. Anyway, on to the next fun fact. This might jinx myself a little bit, but I've never broken a bone. Considering I had a very crazy over-the-top life with a lot of close calls, I'm going to consider this a win, which is why it's a fun fact. On to the next one. My favorite holiday is my birthday. I have 2 favorite holidays, Christmas and Halloween. I love Christmas for its whimsical, nostalgic, and wholesome vibes, and I love Halloween for being the polar opposite. It's dark, edgy, ominous, but also whimsical and like in a fun, spooky way. And I feel like those blow 4th of July out with the water. I'm sorry to my own birthday, but like one day of fireworks is not enough for a buildup of all that. Like we don't have songs for the 4th of July. We don't have like 4th of July holiday specials on TV. It's just sales and like some stuff in stores, and then it's gone after like a week. So it's a very short-lived holiday, which is probably why I'm not the biggest fan of it. You know, the other holidays have more of a build-up and whatnot, so that's kind of why I like them more. Also, if I were to leave the country and celebrate my birthday, no one will give a shit because it's an American-centric holiday. So like, what's even the point? If I went to Europe, no one's gonna care because it's like, oh, it's 4th of July? Awesome, I guess, whatever. But like, if I stay here, it's a big deal. So yeah, it's whatever, you know. It's bragging rights as an American, but it's not anywhere else, and it just doesn't have the same type of hype. Oh well. On to the next fun fact. I've never flown in a plane. I've only crossed the country by train. I've been on buses and cars, but never a plane. Mainly just because I never had the opportunity to. I only crossed the country by train because it was cheaper. Me and my family went on like a trip to California. We took the train. It took 3 days. It was honestly one of the best experiences ever. I would do it again, but I would love to like have like a little room to myself instead of just having like an open seat. That was my least favorite part, sitting next to a stranger for several hours. I didn't like that. But I think the overall experience of seeing the sights and just like the sort of adventurous energy of it all was worth it. Like, I definitely recommend that y'all like cross the country on like the train at least once in your life. It's definitely an experience that might change your perspective on things, and it definitely makes traveling fun. On to the next fun fact. I used to speak Spanish. I wasn't like super fluent, but I learned it in school, from middle school to high school. I stopped speaking it just because, again, this is another, oh, I learned it because of high school, but then I stopped after I graduated because, well, I just didn't have the motivation to continue going, since now that I'm out of school, it's like, whatever, I would like to start it again. All right, on to the next fun fact. So this is not super surprising, but maybe it is, but I considered at one point like going into the forensics or biology field. The only reason why I didn't is because I'm not really great at science. Like, I love learning about science and watching like documentaries and shows and stuff about it, but I, for the life of me, am not good at the math side of it. I'm just not good at like science. I've always gotten like A's to C's in science classes. Even though I really loved the subject, I was just never the best at it. But I was so fascinated learning about like the human body. I loved learning about diseases. I loved learning about psychology, and I loved world of crime and whatnot. Not like in a true crime way, but like in a genuine fascination and like respect for it. Cause like I find the true crime community to be like little maybe in an alternate universe, I'm a crime scene investigator. Maybe I'm a biologist. Maybe I am working in some sort of lab. On to the next fun fact. So, Gekidan Inukuri, the like animators of like the Madoka Magica witches. I got inspired by them, and that's kind of like what inspired the whole scrapbooking mixed media aspect of my art style. I feel like I and many other people, we fell down the pipeline of the Gekidan Inukuri inspiration path. On to the next fun fact. So this is kind of a new hobby and also a life skill that I've gotten better at. It's cooking and baking. It's a really nice love language of like cooking for family and friends, like making cookies for someone or making like someone's favorite meal. I think that's a really beautiful and sweet thing to do. Like that's something I've been doing recently. I just think it's a nice way to like gesture for people, and it's also a great skill to have. So on to the next fun fact. My top 2 favorite animals of all time are ducks and cats. Ducks because they're just really silly and cute. Like, look at them. They're so adorable. And cats because, again, really cute, silly, but also just because I vibe with cats. I've always been a cat person. I thought I was a dog person, but no, I'm a cat person. I think it's just their sort of like, you need to really get to know them to trust them energy. They're very independent, but they can be very loving once you like gain their trust. And I just think that's really sweet. Also, they're not as annoying as dogs. I'm sorry, dogs are very annoying. I just have not had the best experience with dogs. Like, I'm not, like, fearful of them necessarily. But, like, I live in a neighborhood with, like, a lot of dogs. And they are barking all the time. I remember one time a dog was being so aggressive at barking that it was, like, yanking its owner, like, from its leash. And the owner fell to the ground. I was like, dang, that dog needs to relax. Like, I walk by, dogs will be banging on the windows, they'll be barking like crazy. Like, imagine that. Cats don't do that though. They're just chilling. On to the next fun fact. This is gonna sound really funny and weird, but like, watching YouTube poops, which is like this genre of like YouTube videos that used to be really popular, but it's kind of dwindled because of just, I guess, how YouTube has changed. But that's like influenced how I edit my videos, and like actually part of why I have gotten better at editing my videos, because I like reverse engineered like how they do certain things, and as a result it's caused me to like get better at editing. I would consider the Alien Stage parodies to be Y2Ps in a way. I just don't label them as such because I think maybe just for the algorithm's sake it's just easier to like label as a parody. But yeah, like it generally has helped with like inserting jokes or like certain editing techniques and whatnot. Y2P's YouTube classic. They need to continue forever, and I'm going to continue that legacy with my own videos. So yeah. Next fun fact. This is another quick one. My favorite flavor of like a lot of things is vanilla. I know, very basic. My second favorite would probably be like strawberry, but they don't really sell strawberry ice cream by itself, so vanilla is usually my default, because it's like you can put anything on it and it still tastes good, but like other flavors, it's kind of like you just have it by itself, you know? Also, just like, I've never really been a chocolate ice cream fan. It just tastes really weird to me. I don't know why. Strawberry ice cream is perfect though, like second best. On to the next fun fact. This is another short one. So my zodiac sign, Cancer, I live up to its personality traits to a T. Like, if you really want a good general overview of like what my personality is like, I'm basically that. All the traits, literally me. Like, it's actually really accurate. It's kind of scary. I don't know how accurate it is for other people, but like for me, I could just show someone the list and be like, yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. Flaws and everything. I know, it's really weird like how accurate it is. I don't know if it's a coincidence or if there is some like actual science or some sort of mystical astrological aspect to it. I think it's kind of neat that I do share like 99% of my traits with my own zodiac sign. Anyway, on to the next fun fact. So this is man, I'm really cliche and like basic when it comes to certain things that I like, but my favorite flowers are sunflowers and roses because they're easy to draw and because I think they're really pretty. I do like other flowers like forget-me-nots or bluebells and foxgloves, but I like those more because I like their names and I like how whimsical they sound. I also just like in general like flowers that look very fairy tale and fantastical looking. On to the next fun fact. So, fairy tales. I love fairy tales. I miss that era of the 2000s to like the early 2010s where we were making like sort of this edgy, slightly YA novel-esque fairy tale adaptations that were dark but also very campy. I wish the era would come back. But anyway, fairy tales, I love them. They've definitely had like an influence on like my characters and like my art, especially vintage fairy tale illustrations. Those are so beautiful to look at. But for my favorites, I would definitely say it's Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and Red Riding Hood. I think just because of like their symbolism and like how iconic they are, and also because they have influenced my OCs. Like Jack, he was inspired by Cinderella, and Barry's so sweet. I haven't read her backstory, but her design was Red Riding Hood inspired. And Luke is also Sleeping Beauty based. And as for Snow White, I did have an OC that was like based on Snow White. Like it was like an entire like adaptation of it, but like in my own way and its own world and whatnot, but I scrapped it. Disney also contributed to why I love fairy tales, but other media outside of Disney I do love as well. So yeah, on to the next fun fact. This may sound a bit weird, but I've been told this a lot, so I'm gonna just kind of be like, you know what, I guess it's true. I've been told I have really nice eyebrows. Like they're very thick, they're well shaped and defined, and they're dark. And I think because that like looks, I think dark eyebrows in general are a very nice feature on people. So I think that's why a lot of people compliment them. Like, so I went earlier this year, like in February, I had my doctor's appointment, and as the doctor was doing, she was like looking at my eyes and stuff. She was like, "Oh, you have nice eyebrows." So I was like, "Thank you." It was so random, but it was nice. So yeah, and I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to church youth group, and I remember we had to like compliment random kids or something like that, like as like some sort of exercise. And one of the girls told me, "Oh yeah, you have really nice eyebrows." I was like, "Thank you." I didn't really internalize it that at first, because I thought she just said that because she had nothing else to say about me. So she just picked something random. But looking back, I was like, "Oh, she's right. I do have nice eyebrows." I know that probably sounds a bit silly to say, but it's true. I'm gonna show a picture. But yeah, on to the next fun fact. My favorite food of all time is pepperoni pizza. I'm literally having that for dinner today for my birthday, so I'm looking forward to that. We love pizza in this house. Yippee. On to the next fun fact. I don't label my art style as anything really, because I'm not really a super big fan of like labels, and also because I feel like there's so many things that I could label my art style as that it would be like really hard to. So I'm kind of like fine with whatever you guys want to label it as. But anyway, if there was one thing in particular that I would love to be like considered as, like as an artist, it would definitely be a pop surrealist artist. I love pop surrealism. It is like a really fun type of art, and I love all the artists that make pop surrealism. I would definitely say, like when I looked it up, I realized, oh, cool, that's neat. Like Hikari Shimoda has been like a pretty big inspiration. I love her art style. It's very like eerie but cute, and like very depressing and pretty, which I know is like really bizarre sounding, but I just love her art in particular. It is so beautiful to look at. I remember when I tried to replicate it in my own way, it came out all right, but it was really hard to replicate because the eyes in particular are just so mesmerizing and like galactic looking. And I feel like it's one of those things that looks easy, but when you try it yourself, it's like, oh, it wasn't as easy as it looks. Oh well. But yeah, I love pop surrealism. It just really appeals to me. I love like art that is like surreal in general. I don't know why I'm drawn to like surreal and bizarre things. I think that's just how my brain has been wired since day one. I've always been a weird person, I guess, and pop surrealism definitely speaks to me. So if you ever want to like talk about my art, be like, oh, Pulcella-Lulu, she's this pop surrealist artist, I would not mind. I would love that, actually. This fun fact is I've been to Disney World twice. Now I don't have a lot of like visuals and like photos and stuff from the trips, because I might have lost some of it. I don't know. I might have to still look for it. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. It might have gotten lost. Who knows? Yeah, Disney's got a lot of flaws, but I can't deny that the magic was there. Like, I did feel it. I definitely felt some sort of like magical, childish wonder to it. Like, imagine going to Disney World, a place that like was hyped up and you saw ads for it as a kid, and you finally get to be there. Like, that is such a great feeling. So yeah. And also, I went there because it was a band trip. So, like, in my high school, the band program would do this thing where it would fund for the kid, for, like, if you wanted to, you could sign up to go on a trip, but you had to perform there. That was like the only caveat. It wasn't like a free, like, oh, we're going to Disney World just because. No, we would perform there, and then after we would perform, we had like the entire, like, we stayed there for like 3 days. So afterwards, we would have like all the free time to do whatever we want, go throughout the parks, as long as we would meet back up at the end of the day and go back to the hotel. I have these Disney ears. I mentioned it in like an older video where I was showing my paintings that I had. It was a special cap for people who are performing, which I thought was really neat. So I'm definitely not getting rid of those because that's like a one-of-a-kind sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know how much Disney World has changed over the years because the last time we went was 2017. I've heard a lot of stuff has been like taken down or renovated and blah blah blah, so who knows. But would I like to go again? Maybe. I don't really know. It's gotten more expensive, and frankly at this point with how things are, I really don't know. That's all I have to say for this video. I hope you guys liked hearing all my fun facts. It was really hard to think of some stuff because like those icebreakers where it's like, oh, give a fun fact about yourself, and I'm like, so I had to kind of really dig deep into my brain to think of something interesting to say for this video. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna celebrate my birthday, have a good time. Also, if you are still recovering from the aftermath of Alien Stage Karma, hang in there. We love Alien Stage on this channel. Anyway, see you quacks later.